Dean, it looked like a very lively practice out there. Everyone was sort of chipping in. It looked physical. How did you make this practice today? What do you think of it?
Yeah, we wanted to have contact today. Wanted to make sure that wasn't excessive. Got through our scout and how we attack them, and they felt like they did a pretty good job of defending us last time. We played them in New Zealand and keeping the score, in the 80s, and there's certainly some areas there that we can improve. But we add Shay and Joe to that lineup that we played against them last time as well.
Uh, what's it like being at the top of the ladder and seeing all of the different machinations that can happen below you, and knowing that you're not a part of that this season, whereas last season it was sort of the nightmare scenario that happened for you guys? Is it nice just to be at the top watching those guys?
I've I've enjoyed what's going on with our league, where it's just so tight and every game is important. I think that's what we want. The scenario of where we sit versus last year, obviously it's a stressful time going through, trying to make the finals and get a point spread and do all those things, and yeah, understand what some of these teams are going through right now, and some really good teams are going to miss out on the finals as they did last year, and that testimony to our league and the talent that we've got. For us, the focus is just trying to win this next game, and if we can do that, we have a good opportunity to get top spot.
The conversations around how you approach these last two rounds will come up a lot. You guys have basically secured top spot, and so the conversation around potentially resting guys will come up. What's your philosophy going into these last two?
Yeah, we've chatted about it as a group, and everybody wants to have that these last two games as if it was a final series away and home, and make sure that the whole squad's getting quality minutes. So not exceeding what people have done on their average for the year in minutes, but making sure that we just go out and absolutely compete at a high level and get good reps into everybody.
Can you give us an idea into how you've seen Ari's growth from the beginning of the season to now, and then how potentially you see that maybe translating to the next level to the NBA?
Yeah, I had a great chat with Memphis about him and his growth yesterday, and um, you know they wanted to understand in depth about how he deals with the injury, how he dealt with coming back, how he deals with frustration in games, and he's been great. He doesn't take possessions off. He's engaged. There's some, he's helping his teammates out as much as possible. He can be frustrated if he doesn't quite get as much help as well, and he can be frustrated with referees at different times. But I think he moves on so quick, and everybody's going to have little frustrations in games. So, I think that the work ethic and understanding of what he needs every day and him owning his own development have been massive growths.
When you look at his game, what part of his game do you think is the thing that will translate best to the NBA?
Yeah, the speed, the rim presence at both ends, his ability to get out of screens quick and be a lob threat, the ability to protect the rim, and we're a team that doesn't switch as much as the NBA, and that's something that they want to see a little bit more from him. And there's probably in the last few games, there's probably some opportunities for him to show that skill. But his footwork and his ability to sit down and guard in a switch can be fantastic. We think his shot has gone to another level in practice, and I challenged him today to get a number in three balls, and if he does that, there may be the opportunity for him to show that a little bit more as well. And but he's been committed to his development of his shot, and something that we haven't exposed enough. But I think at the next level, he can shoot the three ball.
You're going up against a bunch of teams that have something very material to play for in a play-in spot. How do you make sure that you guys who have effectively locked in your spot match the same level of urgency as those teams?
Yeah, always. It's been a challenge through a period of time, but I think we've had a fairly balanced review every time about these are the areas we need to get better at, and come out of the South East game and say we didn't achieve the goal that we wanted to in rebounding, and everybody acknowledges that one. We didn't let the basketball move as well. So I think there's all these little motivations about how we get better and how's that going to translate to the finals. But then there's, we've targeted guys about what's their motivation to win this year. And, Newley, Joe, Triplet, we spoke to all these guys, and at some point everyone's going to speak about their motivation about winning. And I think we're starting to get this collective of little intangibles about what it means for people to go ahead and be successful this year, and there's a good drive there.
Just going back to Ari, obviously a few weeks ago he copped a shot to the mouth, and he's sort of been playing through that without a lot of people knowing outside of this building. What does that say to his resilience and his strength, just to sort of put away how he's feeling and just sort of tough it out for the team?
Yeah, tooth knocked out a couple of days before we play. Joe was still out at that time, and straight away after the tooth has been knocked out, it's like, are you going to be able to talk? And he's like, I'm playing. And whatever the dentist tells me, I'm going to play. And to go into that game in New Zealand, didn't really speak for a couple of days. We didn't ask too much of him in shoot around to be able to speak, and then to find enough words to be able to communicate with his guards, to be effective in his coverage. But he took a smack in the mouth in the first possession of the game when he walled up in New Zealand, and I guess that one was like, oh, I'm going to be okay. But yeah, he played through a lot of pain, and the resilience that you just spoke about was at another level. To say if something happens in the finals and gets hurt, he's going to want to be out on the floor, and for a guy in his position as a next star that's trying to get to the NBA to do everything to want to win for his team is exceptional.